I had my NQT interview on November 11th. I got the mail saying I was selected on November 9th. I did not have really much time to prepare because I didn't think that I will get into NQT. My exam wasn't that great, but fortunately I got through. And the thing is that I did start preparing all the basic question from Tech and Target because I was hopeful that I will get selected for CTS. So I did all the basic research on all the what questions will be asked from Tech and Target, and believe me, it helped me a lot. Like all from the interview question, the introduce me your question. I just copy pasted the videos on Tech and Target, and I just like made it my own in a way. And so the thing is that the interview was held on Microsoft Team, and I would like to say that please do not use a Bluetooth headphone if you are using it for the first time in Microsoft Team, because I had like technical issues right from the start. Somehow, like when I was invited into the room and I could not hear what the interviewers were saying, so it took me like 1 or 2 minutes to figure it out, and I did the rest from the laptop speaker. So make sure that your Bluetooth headphone work on Microsoft Team properly before going into it. So yeah, other than that, the first question, oh, okay, the first question they asked me was the usual one, introduce yourself. And I did introduce myself. Like I kept everything very subtle. I did not like say, I mean, I had done like 2 3 projects, but I did not mention them. I only mentioned one project, like in the tell me about part. I kept everything very subtle. I did not tell about all the technicalities because I hadn't prepared much. So I just kept it very short. Like I am Ashwin. I belong to this place. I did my 12th from this. I did my engineering from this. And then I mentioned about my one project. Then I mentioned about all the extra activities that I had done in my college, and and then my hobbies. I just kept everything very subtle, and the interview will depend on like the interviewers, right? Because my friends, like the interviewers of my friends did not have their resume in hand, but somehow they had my resume in hand. So everything they asked was based on the resume. And unfortunately, in my resume, I had like mentioned, like I had exaggerated a little bit, and a little bit, because I had mentioned everything was asked from the resume itself. So again, the first question was introduce yourself. Then they started going through my resume. So I had mentioned an internship where I worked in like a cybersecurity domain. So I had the next question from cybersecurity domain. So there were like 2 people in that room. The HR came later. So the first question was they asked me if I had worked on cybersecurity. I said yes. Then they asked me what a man-in-the-middle attack was. So man-in-the-middle attack, I did tell them what a man-in-the-middle attack was. Then they asked me about SQL injections. I did tell them about that. Then they asked me like the authorize like what all are the preventive measures that can be set up against SQL injections. I did like stumble on that, but I did manage to tell them about that. Then they asked me about how confident I was in C or C++. I said like 6.5 to 7. And then they asked me to like tell them or like type the main loop in the chat box of string palindrome to check whether a string is a palindrome. I told them about that. And then yeah, then they asked me what a garbage collector was. I told them. Then they asked me why a garbage collector is used. Then they asked me, mm, yeah, what, then what? Then they asked me questions on the difference between a heap and a stack. I told them what a stack was, but I forgot what a heap was, so I stumbled through the heap question. Then they said no issues. Then they asked me like questions on JVM. I told them all the basics of JVM, what was used for, what it was, and but then they asked deeper questions on that. And I said that sorry sir, I don't know much about JVM, only basics because I had not worked on Java much. So said no issues. Then yeah, they also asked me questions on socket programming because I had mentioned one project on socket programming, so basic question from that was also asked. Yeah, that was mainly the technical interview. Then the HR lady came in, and yeah, the first question then she asked me to like show them a government ID card, and told that I did not look like the photo did not match my face because I had shaved and went for the interview. So then she was pretty chill. She did not ask too many questions. Then she asked to tell me about like my family, tell her about my family. Then I told her. Then she asked if I had problem with relocation. I said no. Then she asked me that, yeah, tell me what my strength and weakness was. So this question also I like looked from Tech and Target helped me, the CTS interview experience from Tech and Target. I like stole some of that from the yeah, the CTS interview from Tech and Target. Then I yeah, then she asked me why TCS. So this also I like got the basic idea of what to say from your Tech and Target videos. And then she asked me like if what should be the strength of it and what characteristics or attributes should a team have to work efficiently. So I said all the basic things should be good communication, have all the basic stuff like that. And then she asked me if I was a team player or an individual person. I said I was a team player. And then she asked me like, yeah, then she asked me a question like, if you were to be assigned on a support project on Hyderabad, where you will not be able to work on any good technology, you will just be in support role. But the client is really important to TCS. Will you go or will you not go for that? I said that I will go, and yeah, basically that was it. And she then asked me told me all the usual questions like a background check will be conducted, and she also asked me about all my marks and grade till seventh semester. So I told her about that, and she said that a background check will be conducted. If the marks are different, I will not be selected. Then asked me the usual questions, relocation problem. I said no. Like night shift, I said no. I said no to all that, and she was more happy. And yeah, I would say that my interview kind of went okay. It was pretty good. I would say like two, three questions. I had a little bit trouble, like two or three questions. A little trouble with that, but other than that, it went pretty smoothly. Other than the technical issue at the beginning. So yeah, that was yeah, that sums up my interview experience. Yeah, they also asked me what the difference between AA and ML was. And yeah, one more thing they do is that they cross check. They certainly asked if I had worked on like database management software, and I was going to say no because I did not remember that I had worked on it on second year. But I had mentioned on my resume that I had worked on SQLite. But thankfully I said yes. And then yeah, while the interview was going, again one of the interviewer asked me if I had worked on something related to AI. And that question also, my urge was to say no because I did not remember that on one of my project I had worked on a little bit of AI and I had mentioned it on my resume. But then again I remembered that and I said yes, I had worked on AI. Yeah, you got to be careful about that. If you say no, then there are going to be consequences because you have mentioned something on your resume, and they will get the chance to cross question you on that. They will ask, then they will probably ask, why had you mentioned AI if you have not worked on it? So make sure you remember all the things that you have mentioned on your resume. So that's also really important. Yeah, other than that, this is how my interview went. And my friends also got asked questions on a software development life cycle, a lot of question on DBMS. So how I prepared was I went and studied 50 questions each of DS, DBMS, Java, OOPS. Then yeah, I like because I had mentioned cybersecurity, I also like skimmed through some security interview questions, like 10, 20 of them, and somehow two, three came from that only. And also I just skimmed through operating system interview question. I did not study anything very deeply because I had very limited time. So what I did was I searched interview questions on DS. Oops, all the basic core subjects, and probably everything will be asked on that and on your resume. So not myself, one day is enough to prepare, I would say. Like go through all the interview questions, so like 50 from each topic would be enough.